Where are you going? Oh my god.
And now for the secret ingredient. So we're coming up on Memorial Day here, and after Memorial Day, about a month and a half, 2 months after that, you have the 4th of July. So that means it's picnic season. So what we've got to do here is start getting ready for picnics or barbecues, whichever you prefer. Even though we're trapped in the house, you may just do it with your family, or you may do it with friends that you see all the time that are sort of quarantined along with you. And eventually you won't be quarantined anymore, and this will be a great recipe. So to do a good picnic or barbecue, one really important thing is to have a nice salad of some type. So today we're going to make two different kinds of salad. We're going to do a potato salad, and the potato salad, this is an invention I did back when I was in college, long time ago. It's got a secret ingredient. I'm not going to tell you right now, because I will tell you right now that if I do tell you, you're going to go, ooh, what? And every time I've mentioned to friends what the secret ingredient is before they taste the salad, they're like, ugh. But then once they taste it, and then I tell them what's in it, they go, oh really? Well, that's very interesting. So I'll give you the secret ingredient as we go through the recipe, but right now you're not going to get it up front. The first thing you do is you start with 3 potatoes. I cut them up because I'm going to have to boil them. I want to cook them. In order to cook them right, you cut them into smaller pieces, they'll cook quicker. I'm going to boil them for about 35 minutes, which is going to get them just soft enough but not too soft. At some point, I'm going to put in 2 eggs. I want hard-boiled eggs. To hard-boil the eggs, I'm going to cook them about 20 minutes after it's boiling. So I'll cook these for 15 minutes first, then I'll put the eggs in, and then we'll finish it up at 30. In 35 minutes, both the potatoes and the eggs are cooked. Now you want to take them and drain them well. I'm going to use a colander, very easy. If you don't have it, you could just pick it out of here, but it's much easier to use a colander. You just dump it all in. Okay, now you take the eggs out of the colander and drop them in cold water. Let them cool. You want to work with the potatoes while they're still hot. Okay, we dump it into a bowl. I'm using the pot I cooked it in. That'll work just fine. We chopped up half an onion. We're going to use half of it for the coleslaw and then half of it for the potato salad. I like using a sweet onion rather than a storage onion. I think it tastes better. Then you want mayonnaise. With this much potatoes, you use about 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise. And this is obviously to taste, but there you go.
Where are you going? Oh my god.
And now for the secret ingredient. Popcorn. Yes, I put popcorn in potato salad. And many people don't know about that. And they're surprised when they hear about it. Now for those of you who don't know how to pop popcorn on the stovetop, I'm going to tell you. You know, it's a pretty basic thing, and a lot of us learned it when we were younger. But nowadays a lot of people have air poppers or popcorn machines that they throw the kernels in and they get popcorn. It's okay to use it that type. I like cooking mine on the stovetop just because I have more control on it. You pour some oil into a pan, just barely enough to halfway cover kernels. You put 2 kernels into the pan or into the pot so that that's your gauge as to when the oil is hot enough to start popping. You turn it on medium-high, you cover it over. When you hear the kernels pop, then you pour in just a single layer of popcorn kernels. Now, Once they pop, they're going to fill up the entire pot. So don't put too many kernels in there because you'll wind up with popcorn all over the place and it'll look like an I Love Lucy episode. You don't want to do that. So just go ahead and wait until you hear one pop or two pops, and then you put the rest of the kernels in. We'll see when that happens. All right, the kernel just popped. The second one is unpopped. It's probably going to pop while I've got the top up. Okay, just enough popcorn in there to kind of cover the bottom of the pan. Cover it back over, shake the pot. It starts popping, and the reason you shake it is as the kernels pop, you want the uncooked kernels to fall to the bottom of the pot so that they all can go ahead and pop. Continue to shake until the popcorn kernels stop popping and are popping maybe once every minute or two. And then you know it's been cooked enough. Popping, but it's slowing down a little bit. Okay, now you turn it off. You let the rest of the kernels pop on stored heat. Okay, the popping stopped. And that's enough popcorn. You only want about 2 cups of popcorn in this salad. Now once the popcorn's popped, you pour about 2 cups of it into a blender. Turn the blender on slow. And you're grinding up the popcorn so that you get it just a little bit more coarse than cornmeal. That's about where you want it. And this is going into the potato salad. And it gives the potato salad a sort of a sweet and nutty flavor, which is kind of interesting. Take the popcorn, dump in about 2 cups of the popcorn. You start mashing the potatoes a little bit. You don't want them fully mashed because this is a potato salad and not mashed potatoes. And that's why you didn't cook them all the way. You cooked them kind of. I like to leave the skin on the potatoes because that adds to the sweetness. It adds to the nutty flavor, and all the nutrition in a potato is in its skin, so you might as well appreciate that. I think it gives a good flavor and a good texture to the salad. Then you want to add in about 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And now it's time to mix in the eggs.
Stir.
Now I use an egg slicer to put my eggs in here. It's a lot easier. I don't have to break them up by hand. When I started stocking my kitchen, when I first moved out of my house, I got a really good quality egg slicer, and it's lasted me a good 20 years. And I think that may be one of the best appliances I ever bought. All right, now you want to add in some salt and pepper. A good helping of pepper. I'm probably using close to 2 tablespoons of pepper here. Salt you want to put in according to taste. I don't like a lot of salt, but you need some in here. The vinegar actually replaces some of the salt, which is why I put the vinegar in there in the first place. You want to taste it? That's just about right. So now I want to smooth it out, refrigerate it for a while, and then we can try that a little bit later. And there you have a potato salad that won't taste like any other potato salad you've ever had. People love it. I had a friend who tried it once. He's one of those who, when he first heard it had popcorn in it, went, ooh, and then he tasted it And then he said, wow, that's amazing. He brought it once to a family dinner, and for the next 30 years of his life, his family always requested that he bring potato salad. It's really good, it's a wonderful taste, but the popcorn will freak people out. Don't tell them about it until after they taste it. That's sweet, it's sour, it's nutty, it's creamy. The onions give it a little bit of crunch. I like to put celery in it, but we don't have any celery right now because of the quarantine. So I made this without the celery, but if you like more crunch, you can chop up a couple of stalks of celery. I put in 2 stalks, chop them up really fine and mix it in with everything else. This is really good. If you have dogs, they will love popcorn. Kiki, Kiki. So the next classic salad we're going to make for a barbecue or picnic is coleslaw. Everybody loves coleslaw, or if they don't, they should. Now, normally you start with your classic chopped up vegetables. You have a head of cabbage, just your standard cabbage, and grated carrots. Now you can do it yourself. I decided to be lazy today, and I'm using just a packet of coleslaw mixing, which is just cabbage and carrots. That's all you need. You can also add green pepper. That adds a nice dimension to it. Also, we're going to add about 1/3 of that chopped onion. No, I'm going to add the entire half. And those are your veggies, and then what you want to do is get it all mixed in together. Then you want to make a coleslaw dressing. Now you can buy one out of the store, but it's not ever going to be as good as the one you make. Here I'm going to show you how to make a really good coleslaw dressing. You want to do here about 3/4 of a cup of mayo. And by the way, we always use Best Foods. That's what we do in Hawaii. That's what I use. In addition to the mayo, you want to add about 2 tablespoons of horseradish. And it'll help you clear your sinuses as well. All right, you want to add maybe 2 teaspoons of celery seed. That gives you the celery flavor without having the celery in it. Now here's something. KFC uses pineapple in their coleslaw. I like the taste of it. And so we're putting pineapple chunks. We didn't really have pineapple chunks, so I got pineapple slices and cut it up. Normally if I have it, I'll use crushed pineapple. Then you want to add just about a 1/2 cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk into this. Now, KFC also uses buttermilk in the dressing, and I think it gives it a nice flavor. It makes it creamier, and it doesn't add fat. Now, people, they misunderstand buttermilk. They hear the word butter, they think, oh, it must be really fatty. No, actually what buttermilk was originally is when you churn butter, the liquid left in the container after all the fat had been separated out was considered buttermilk. Nowadays, they actually culture buttermilk separately, but they'll use skim milk and they create the sour flavor with the culture. And most buttermilk has very little fat, if any at all. Okay, the one other thing we need is some cider vinegar. Okay, and then the last thing you need is some cider vinegar. I'm going to add in just about 1.5 tablespoons of cider vinegar. And that gives it a nice tang. Always some pepper. I like a lot of pepper. That's about 1 tablespoon of pepper. And then the one other thing you want to do, a good coleslaw is usually just slightly sweet. Now, you can put in brown sugar. I think that gives it a nice flavor. I tend to use xylitol which is a non-caloric sweetener that's not sugar. It keeps the salad a little bit healthier so you don't have a bunch of sugar in it, and it's still just as tasty and has no aftertaste. This is a particular brand that I have in the house, but any xylitol will do. And one thing about xylitol when you have dogs like we do is you want to be careful because this is toxic to dogs. Don't let them eat your salad if you have xylitol in it, and don't spill it on the floor where they'll go and lick it up because it's sweet. I put in about a tablespoon of xylitol. And now you want to let this marinate for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and it'll be ready to eat. Let me taste it and make sure it tastes like it's supposed to. This has been marinating for a couple of hours. It helps blend the flavors. It gets the cabbage just a little bit soft because the flavors are blended in. I tell my Korean family that this is the American version of kimchi, and it really is, because it's a cabbage in a sauce, and it's slightly sour, it's slightly sweet. It's a good overall blend, and they love it. Whenever they come here, I always have to make it because they really love the taste of it. And frankly, I love the taste too, and it's a nice healthy salad to keep on the table with your other barbecue items. Maybe you have hot dogs and hamburgers, or maybe you have a picnic, maybe you have fried chicken. Coleslaw goes really well with all of that.